alleviate this problem. And how's that going over there, Tom?
Boy, I tell you, notice the difference in the picture from when we had before. So we were having problems with the internet
All
before.
right.
So we are up and running. So you can actually now go and listen and watch the live recording on comforttimelive.com. We'll be broadcasting it. So that is good news. So now we have all this information. So thank you
Filling in.
for filling in there until we get things going.
Anytime.
You're good, man. I don't care what they all say about you. So, all right. So the licensing board, what they do is the inspectors that are out and about bring forth all of the people that they have allegedly caught doing unlawful acts. And now these, what?
You
You have to be careful how you say.
got to be careful how you phrase that. Getting caught doing unlawful acts. Well, thank God I got a screen and enclosure around my pool then.
So what happens is they bring forward these citations. Now the citations are all based on actual Florida building codes or local Port St. Lucie municipality codes. Now what they do is they bring these citations in front of the board. The board discusses them, hears the information from the inspector or the investigator, as we say, and then they make a decision. Now the violator has the opportunity to come to the board hearing and appeal any issues that they think, maybe there was misinterpretation, whatever the case may be, they have their legal right to come and do it. Well,
And that's proper that you should have the right
Absolutely.
to defend yourself against.
right, because you know our legal system is always innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, our legal systems. You're guilty until you can prove yourself innocent. I don't care what anybody
Can you
says.
imagine being one of those guys, or one of the people, not guys? We've seen a lot of them in the paper lately and on the news that were imprisoned for 18, 20 years, and then finally, with the DNA evidence that we're able to bring forth,
We're acquitted.
were acquitted, and that they did not do it. So, 20 years in jail.
Now, is anybody going to reimburse these folks for time lost,
I think they
monies
get
lost?
something. I think they get money, but still,
But a handshake? Hey, we're sorry, we messed
no,
up.
I think they,
Precious memories.
yeah, I think they do something. I don't know the details behind it. I think they get. Of course, they can sue the heck out of but
No more soap on a rope. I mean, my mom retired 30 years out of the judicial systems, and I tell you what, our judicial system in the United States sucks, plain and simple.
I could never. There's no money in the world that I can imagine. Now, if I told you ahead of time, here, you spend 20 years in jail. When you get out, I'll give you 20 million. Would you do it?
No.
No.
No, because it changes you.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're not going to be the same person when you came out.
You'll come out with a criminal mind and $20 million to steal more with.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for putting me in jail so I could learn how to steal better.
Yeah, no.
Now, that's the bad news. The good news is here's $20 million. You don't need to steal anything, but how do you
Yeah.
see if
Your life's been
it's
ruined.
a programming?
Well, now what you do is you take that 20 million, you go over to Colombia or whatnot. And now that you know how to import drugs and whatnot, because you've talked to all your inmates and whatnot. Now
I'm going to have $20 million when I get out of here. What do y'all want? Let's start a corporation.
I tell you what, 20 years in prison, I would miss my girlfriend, Bubba the Love Sponge.
So anyway, our investigators who are out there in the world doing this is investigator Kevin Pierce, investigator Dennis Millward, investigator Matt Boettcher. Oh boy, I probably butchered the heck out of that one.
Boucher.
Boettcher.
Boucher.
Boucher. Bobby Boucher?
There's an ET
I'm
on
going
there.
right chair. I'm going to get on football.
Mama said.
Mama said.
All right, so here's what we found. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is all public knowledge. If your name comes up on here and you're a little upset, not my problem.
Should have been doing things right.
Exactly. So our first violator that we have on the Port St. Lucie Channel. First of all, this was held, the approval minutes, May 10th, 2012. This was actually, let's see, examining board is scheduled to meet on Thursday. Well, the next one is July 12th. Is the next one at 10 a.m. So, but this one was just recently done, and they send this to me every time. So the reason why I'm going to give you the violators' names is because if these people are trying to still continually engage in these unlawful activities. As a listener of Comfort Time Live, I want you to be aware of this person. If they come to your front door, if they contact you in any way, I want you to know that they have done things in the past. Now, that being said, does not mean that this individual cannot turn themselves around. But what it means is if this individual comes to your house, you need to do your due diligence to make sure that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now are these people folks who have already been proven
Yes.
to be defrauded,
Yes.
or they're suspected of?
No. They
Okay.
were suspected when they went to the board.
Okay.
These
So
are
they've already-
these are the actual results of the
Okay.
licensing board, which means they have been found guilty.
And it's a matter of public record, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, matter of public record. That's why they're able to send me this
Right.
information.
And that's why you're able to.
Yes.
Exactly. And also, it's on TV as well.
Right.
So you watch these hearings, so you can physically see the people that are on there. It's right on Port St. Lucie TV. You can physically see these meetings going on. You could hear the people if they're trying to appeal. It's funny. I actually saw John from Elite Electric on there last night. I guess there was a recording or something. Just something that, I don't know, from the city and problems and just crazy stuff. But he didn't do anything wrong, so it was fine.
Very cool.
But it was funny. My wife's sitting there watching, and it's
And John's on vacation right now too, by the way.
yes. Well, it was the guy who's the head of the building department. I forget his name. Anyway, the
He'll
guy,
come back.
And the guy who's head of the building department was standing there, and John was standing right next to him. And my wife goes, "Is he sitting down, or is he just that short?" I said, "No, and he's standing up."
Hey, listen, I just want to give a quick shout out to these investigators. Gentlemen, thank you for, doing such a great job in enforcing the codes here in St. Lucie County and making sure that, these things are caught. So, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so our first individual who was accused and a violator, his name is Joshua Muller, Muller. He has 4 citations that were given to him. Now, basically, 2 of the citations happened twice. One of them was he engaged in the business of a contractor without being duly certified or registered, which basically means that he was unlicensed or registered to do the type of work that he did. Now, it doesn't say specifically what he was trying to do, but whatever he was supposed to be doing, or whatever he did do, he was supposed to have a license to do it. Now, the next citation was willfully or deliberately disregarding any municipal ordinance relating to uncertified or unregistered contractors. So not only did he just, I didn't know I need it, but obviously he's willfully going out saying, I know I need a license for this, and I could care less. I'm going
Wow.
to go out and do this.
And each one, it cost him $460.
$460. Now the problem here, and we've gone through this with the Trades Council through the Trust Coast Builders Association, which we formed, and we're using the Trades Council to help focus on unlicensed activity. But the issue is they cannot fine someone more than $500. So you can, and
Why?
it's a shame because
Well,
it's
and who
it's
came
the
up-
law.
Why
That's
can't
the
we?
law.
Well, we have to change that.
Well, we're trying to. That's what the Trades Council is trying to do, is instill these fines and make them larger. Because you think about it, if I know that I can do a month or 2 months worth of work and make $20,000-$30,000 profit, and somebody fines me 4 times for $460,
What's $1,800?
yeah, what's $1,800 if I just put 30 grand in my pocket? I
Right.
take my chances.
Yeah,
Take my chances.
and who knows what bad work or how much he's ripped other people off.
Exactly.
I
And-
mean, honestly,
and these people right here.
Yeah.
I mean, who I feel sorry for the homeowner or the person who he was trying to do work for. How do we even know, because he's not certified or registered or licensed, how do we know that the work that he did was even code?
Yeah.
Was even close
Yeah.
to being code? I would definitely take the odds in Vegas to say that what he did wasn't up to code, that nothing that he did. Now the investigator on that one was Kevin Pierce. Now, investigator Dennis Millward brought the violator John Davison, Davison, and he had also 4 citations. Now, all 4 citations. Now, remember, this is over. Oh, actually, no, because these are consecutive. So now, unlike Joshua Mueller, his citations were not consecutive numbers. They were 15375 all the way up to 15392. So they were not consecutive. However, John Davison's were 4 consecutive, 71, 72, 73, 74.
Bam, 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 bam.
So I would really love to hear that story. I should, that's what I need to do. I actually need to plan to sit down and watch these, or actually go to them when they happen, so we can have more information regarding it. So all 4 of his violations that he was accused of was he engaged in the business of a contractor without being duly certified or registered, which again means he has 4 counts of doing something requires a license, but he did not have it.
Ma'am, I can rewire your electrical box. No, you don't need to see my license. I can do this.
No,
Trust me.
I got a license.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a license. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Driver's license.
But most people, most of these homeowners, are you licensed? Yeah, I'm licensed. Oh, okay. They
No.
don't know better. First off, some of them don't even know better to ask.
Ladies and gentlemen, ask for copies. If they can't give you a copy of their business license, don't trust them.
Is it proper to ask to see the license?
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of them have the licenses posted on the vehicles.
That doesn't mean anything.
Really?
That doesn't mean anything because
Because Bozo the Clown could be driving that.
I could put any number on that you want. So unless somebody physically checks the number. Now think about it. When you drive down the road and you see a number and it says licensed and insured and there's a physical number, how often do you go and check that number?
Zero.
Zero times.
I don't even know where to go.
Yeah.
I just they're licensed. They must be licensed if they wouldn't put it on their truck.
They're dumb at what they do, but they're smart at getting around the system. All right, well, let's take our first break. We're talking about the agenda from the citation hearing for the examining board for St. Lucie County, and we're talking about the folks that were accused and actually found guilty
And fined.
and fined. So when we come back, you're listening to Comfort Time Live with Tom and Dino.
Tired of struggling to find the right air conditioning contractor? Heard those horror stories about people being scammed out of thousands of dollars? Well, Comfort Time Live has found a great air conditioning contractor that they approve and you can trust. Ranger Air Conditioning Service. Ranger has been in business on the Treasure Coast for more than 38 years, providing the best in quality and customer service. Ranger Air Conditioning Service is family-owned and operated by Tom Ranger. He and his highly trained staff and team members are waiting to earn your business. So give Ranger Air Conditioning Service a call at 772-546-7777. That's Ranger Air Conditioning Service at 772-546-7777 and recommended by Comfort Time Live. Don't forget to tell them you heard about them here on WPSL 1590 and receive a special discount. Elite Electric, specializing in all your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at EliteElectricandAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live. Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing would like to help you schedule some help, whatever on-time help you need. For plumbing emergencies like a busted water heater, go to ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Sewage problems? ScheduleSomeHelp.com. If water is dripping from your ceiling, ScheduleSomeHelp.com. If you need help repairing that leaky faucet or upgrading your shower head, ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Want help with your golf game? Yep. ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Right now, get help for $25 at ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Limitations and exclusions apply. See ScheduleSomeHelp.com for full details.
All right, welcome back to Comfort Time Live with Tom and Dino.
Hello.
ComfortTimeLive.com is the place to go. Constantly updating it. Just recently I updated, if you go to the front screen and on the picture of the house, if you click on the crawl space, that'll bring you to another page that I've put all kinds of information in there about damp basements, crawl spaces, indoor air quality, all kinds of pictures so you can see some of the issues that it causes. And what I'm going to do is, as each of these shows go on and I gather information, I'm going to start every section of the house. When you click on it, you're going to be able to find information about that. And also, hopefully, we're going to bring some sponsors in regarding those situations. So, all right, so let's get back to the City of Port St. Lucie citation hearings for folks that have done unlawful acts, were brought in as accusations, and then were found guilty and fined. So John Davison was the last person that we were talking about who engaged in the business of a contractor without being duly certified or registered. So if Mr. John Davidson comes to your front door or picks up the phone and calls you and tries to do business with you, please make sure you physically see a copy of his license for whatever type of work
That John does.
that John is doing for you. So if he has a plumbing license, but he's coming in to do air conditioning, well, you need to know the difference. And the way you can check, you can go to Comfort Time Live, or you can go to the Department of Business and Professional Regulations website. But if you go to Comfort Time Live, under the link Contractors, there's actually links to the Department of Business and Professional Regulations where you can check the license to see what the license is for. For instance, air conditioning is typically CAC, or if it's mechanical, it's got an M in there, or if it's just a registered, which is only for a certain city, that would be an R. But there's all different ways to find that out.
Well, just because somebody's a licensed contractor, does that mean they can do anything in your house?
As long as it's regarded to their business. So if I have an air conditioning license,
General contractors, air conditioning.
general contractor has a different means. Like a mechanical contractor, a general contractor has the means to do a lot more than just a air conditioning or a plumbing contractor or whatnot.
All right.
Because a lot of folks will actually subcontract under the general contractor's license. But he still can't walk in and just start, doing things. But he's also got to pull a permit as well. So not only do these folks have to be certified and registered or licensed, they also have to pull a permit to do the work. Because typically anything that you do, if you're required to have a license for your trade, there's not too much that you can't do in a house that doesn't require a permit, unless it's just minor repairs.
Right.
Okay, now the next one was investigator Matt, and I'm just going to say Boucher, but I know that's not the way to say it. So, Matt.
And Matt, if you're listening, please call us up and let us know how to pronounce your last name.
Tell us at 340-1590 if you want to call. If you have questions, comments, maybe you're listening to the show and maybe you've had some contact with these folks in the past. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe you've had some experiences with unlicensed contractors that you weren't aware of until it was too late. Perhaps you've ended up losing a lot of money to a unlicensed or, a licensed contractor who was less than honest. So Matt found Brian Dodd, D-O-D-D, and fined him with 2 citations. Now, these citations were a little bit apart, so this means that it could have been done in 2 separate occasions. And now, this will be my guess. This is my opinion. My guess is what it is, because these citations are apart. The first citation was that he engaged in the business of a contractor without being duly certified or registered. Well, the one right below that, which was 5 citations apart, which means Mr. Matt went out and gave 4 other citations before he cited this gentleman. Can I add that up real quick? Willfully or deliberately disregarding any municipal ordinance related to uncertified or unregistered contractors. So that means that after he was given a citation for doing work without a license,
And Matt drove down the street and handed out 5 more.
he come back and found out that this guy was still doing the work that he just got fined and cited for.
He just said to heck with it.
I don't care. What are you going to do? You going to bust me $460? Man, I just made 10 grand off these people.
Yeah.
Man, what's 460? It's
Yeah.
a drop in the bucket. So, unfortunately, I know that these investigators have to be just absolutely frustrated. And but I guess you could say this, with all these idiots out there, there's job security.
There's a whole lot of idiots out there, too. I'm telling you what, the gene pool out there for contractors is awfully shallow.
Oh, boy, we could have a whole show just on that. All right, so here we're going to get into some of the disciplinary hearings. Now, the first one we have on our list is the City of Port St. Lucie versus Mark the city of Port St. Lucie versus Edward Louderback Jr. and his business was Sign Connection of the Treasure Coast Incorporated. Now his violation, and I'm going to read the details of the violation, but the violation was conditions of permits. And what it basically says is that every permit issued shall become invalid if the work authorized is suspended or abandoned for a period of 6 months.
And then you have to reapply for another permit.
Correct.
Okay.
So I start work, the work nothing happens to that work for 6 months. At the end of that 6 months, if I want to start that project up again, I have to go back to the board, and work shall be considered active when permit has been received and approved inspection within 180 days. Okay, so at that point, before I restart, I have to pull the permit again, and I also have to have the project inspected at that point to see where it is. And that was his violation. And there's actually Florida Building Code 105.4, and also the Port St. Lucie Code is 150.105.4. So here's what if this gentleman does work for you, now, not again saying that he does this all the time. This just could have been a fluke and just a mishap. And you know what? It happens. I've seen some of the best companies in the world have this. In fact, when I had purchased my heating and air conditioning company, I found that through the transition of owner to owner, there was a couple permits that got lost in the sauce, as the previous owner said. And as we started going back through, we found some permits, and we actually had to go and reapply for the permit. Now, if we had gone out to that job without doing all the checks, we could have actually gotten in trouble for that. But we took care of it. Now, one thing that you're going to notice as we go through these is there are a lot of heating and air conditioning companies on this list. A lot.
That scares me.
Yes. But before we do that, we're going to go to trivia. 340-1590. 340-1590. If you can be the first caller to answer the trivia question today, you are going to get a free whole house plumbing inspection by Ben Franklin Plumbing right here locally in our area. So 340-1590. Listen up, and you could be the winner. And this is about $150 value, and it's purely an inspection. They're not coming out to try to sell you anything. They're going to just make you aware and show you what kind of outstanding quality that they perform, but they're going to make you aware of some perhaps energy robbing things in your home and help you see perhaps what are the best ways to go about to fix them. So 340-1590 for your trivia question today. Who can tell me how long one lap on the Indianapolis Speedway is? How long is one lap on the Indianapolis Speedway?
Well, that shouldn't be too hard.
Nope, shouldn't be too hard at all. Okay, so the next violator, 340-1590. Give us a call to answer that trivia question to win your free one-time whole house plumbing inspection. Now, the next one was Michael Ewing from Pioneer Cooling and Heating. Now, his code violation was proceeding without inspections and knowingly violating applicable building codes. Now, those two almost go hand in hand with each other.
You would think so.
Because if I knowingly violate a building code, I don't want the inspector to come out because I violated a building code. I don't want them to come out and inspect it because I know I'm going to get busted for it. So, now, does it mean that they do this all the time? Does it mean that they're a bad company? But it's public record that they did. So what this means is that if you have these folks come into your house and do work for you, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that you personally contact the building department to make sure that you are covered as a homeowner. Because regardless of whether you're upset with the laws or not, if something is done against code, it most likely means that it's something that could be harmful to you and your family. Don't let that happen. Okay? The next one, and I'm getting to one on here that when I saw it, it was absolutely zero surprise to me, and I'm probably going to be able to track them a lot more. So the next one we have here is James R. Lundy III.
All right.
Did I miss one?
Nope. There it is.
James R. Lundy III from Top of the Line Air and Heat. Now, Top of the Line Air and Heat, his violation, Florida Building Code 105.1, required permits. Any owner or authorized agent who intends to replace any mechanical system shall first make application and obtain the required permits. Basically, in short terms, he didn't pull a permit to do the work on the job.
Now that could have been just an oversight, you know.
It could have been. It could have been. Now I don't know how forgiving the city is. It could have been something that at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday evening that they went to a customer's house. The customer had no air conditioning. They had a piece of equipment in the house. The next morning they were out there doing the work, and
Right.
maybe the inspector happened to drive by. You know what? It happens.
It does.
But the thing that a lot of these municipalities, if you come into a situation like that, a lot of them will say, hey, just pick up the phone and call us first thing in the morning. Let us know what had happened. Make sure that you have somebody in our office as quickly as possible to make sure that the permit's been pulled. We're going to go ahead and go to line 1 to Richard and see if Richard's got the answer to our question. Hey, Richard.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Richard. How about yourself?
Good.
You got an answer to our trivia question. How?
I believe it's 2.5 miles.
You got it, Richard. That is absolutely correct, because how long is the whole race?
500.
And how long would be that one lap?
One lap's 2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. There you go. Okay, so Richard, we have your phone number. Just got to give it.
So how many laps does that make it?
Yeah, how many laps?
What?
How many? If it's
Roughly 200.
There you go.
500 miles.
yeah, 500 miles would be 200 miles, or the
Yeah.
200 laps. 200
200
laps.
laps.
200
That
laps.
wasn't required to win. I just
No.
threw that in.
Dude, man,
That's
you need
okay.
my toes to count, Tom?
Not those toes. Hey, Richard, well, we appreciate you listening to the show, and what we're going to do is we're going to give you, now, are you going to be able to use the prize?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, because we've, in the past, we've had some folks that they call in just to answer the trivia, and then they decide that they don't want the prize, and I want to be able to give these away to folks that can actually use them. So, awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this over right after the show to Ben Franklin Plumbing, and they will contact you immediately to schedule a convenient time to come out to your home and give you the free inspection.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Richard, thanks a lot. You have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, so James R. Lundy III, top-of-the-line air conditioning, required permits. Once again, not saying that they're a bad company, not saying that they constantly. Now, if they continually get busted for not pulling permits, then there's a problem. So we're going to start keeping track of these every time I get them and see if there's a correlation to contractor that constantly has their name on the list. Now, after a while, what will happen is if it happens in the city will actually pull their privilege to pull a permit. And we've had that on some past of these that people have had their privileges pulled where they're not allowed to pull permits, which means that they can't do any work in that city unless they did it illegally.
And I'm sure that happens too, because you
Absolutely.
don't need a permit to go down and buy equipment to do the job.
No, you don't need the vendors and manufacturer distributors do not. They're supposed to have licenses on file, but they do not. They don't look at it and say, "Oh, I want to see your permit before you buy this insurance."
Yeah, no.
Or before you buy this equipment. Now, great idea, but manufacturers would never do it. They'd be like, "We wouldn't sell any equipment."
Right.
We
Yeah,
can't do
7
that.
o'clock comes on the evening time, back door opens up.
Oh yeah. Juan Pablo and Jose and them all back up their little Tacomas and. All right, so the next one on our list. Now notice that was already 2 air conditioning companies. Start keeping track there. So the next one is Robert Scott of All Shutters and Screens Incorporated. Once again, Robert's code, Florida Building Code 105.1, he didn't pull a permit for the work that was required. Now, you'd have to watch the TV in order to get the details of what specifically he did that required a permit. They don't have that information on here, just that he was accused and found guilty of not pulling a permit, which is pretty cut and dry. Here's another one. We have Barry Norton from Nortec Electric. Same thing. Barry did not pull a permit to do, and obviously it was, I mean, this is just a lucky guess, but he was probably doing some type of electrical work.
I would think so. I hope he wasn't working on my pool.
Because if he was doing something other than electrical work, he probably would have been found guilty of not being registered or licensed in that. So he'd probably have multiple violations. All right, here's another one. We have Scott Barber from Scott Screen, LLC. Now, here's one. Scott proceeded without inspections and knowingly violated applicable building codes. So that could be right back to where it was, that when Kevin did this, is that that he found out that he wasn't doing work the way he should, and then came back and found out that he knowingly continued to work against those building codes.
Gentlemen, I know that sometimes we get in a bind and it's hard.
Gentlemen, you're obviously not talking to me.
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay.
or Cliff.
Oh!
But these, it only takes a second to pull a permit, and I know that sometimes we get in a hurry. We get
Depends
in a
on what county you go to.
Right.
St. Lucie County, yeah, only a couple seconds to pull a permit. Martin County, oh my gosh.
Hey, can you guys mail that to me next year, please? I appreciate it. It only takes a second. I know sometimes that it gets busy and we get tied up, and sometimes jobs got to get done tomorrow. But let's make sure we do things right and get permits pulled.
Yeah, but a lot of municipalities are forgiving to a point. Now if they see it continually happen, they'll be like, okay, there's only so many emergency air conditioning systems you're going to install. But some of the municipalities are forgiving that way. Say, hey, we understand. If it's 7 o'clock at night and they got no air and you got to go in the next morning first thing, but just make sure you call us and make sure you get somebody down to pull the permit as quickly as possible. That's all we ask. That's all they ask. And the permits are there for a reason. Yeah, we can PO and moan all we want about it's just another way for the city to make money and blah, blah, blah.
But you have to look at the big picture. It's if you're doing work in some of these houses, we have to be responsible for our actions, and we have to be held responsible. So it gives somebody an opportunity to come back behind your work to make sure you're doing it right.
Absolutely, because even though you may be the best contractor in the world and you do everything perfectly, and you sit there while we're live on the air and you plug away at your phone making all kinds of obnoxious noises. It's not.
We can hear every click you do there, Cliff.
That's like Barry with his marbles.
Right.
You're getting out of your stroll area. They can't hear that. They don't hear me either.
Oh, because I can hear that. All right. So anyway.
When you play this back, you won't hear anything.
Oh, okay, good. I'm just messing with you, Cliff. All right, so here's another one. We have, so we talked about Scott. We have Mark White from Ameritech Plumbing. Now, what Mark has here is conditions of permits. Now, what happens is every permit issued shall become invalid. Okay, here's the one we have again. If the work authorized is suspended or abandoned for a period of 6 months. After it's abandoned for that period of time, that they shall have the required permits received again and have an improved inspection within 180 days. Now, some of these issues occur because I was reading one last night when I started Googling the ordinances. I found a 39-page document that started out with a letter from, I guess, the contractor trying to appeal the situation. Well, what had happened was the homeowner threw the contractor off the job after he was violated and fined by the city. But because the homeowner threw him off the job, the guy could never go back to correct the work that he did before he was thrown off the job. So it was just, 39-page document that was just unbelievable. But it's all public record. All right, now here's the one I'm talking about here. Ronald J. Welsh from Artistic Air Conditioning, Inc. There's so many things that I would want to say about this guy and about this company.
Oh, you know the company.
I know the company. I know the guy.
All right.
This gentleman, and I could say this because it was public knowledge, when I was president of the Treasure Coast the Treasure Coast Air Conditioning Contractors Association for a period of time. Me and this gentleman and his wife, because I was working for a large manufacturer, he was one of the clients, we invited him to be on the board. And he ended up becoming vice president.
All right.
Okay, so, well, the bylaws state that in order to be a member of the association, that your company, if your company ever became solvent, or where it went belly up or bankrupt or financially bad problems, that they can no longer be a part of the organization. Well, the one company, which was another version of the Artistic air conditioning, it still was called Artistic, but I think that they did a play on the words to keep it going. They went belly up. Well, I asked him, well, if you've already opened up your new company, just to save face, let's go ahead and put an application under your new company so we can keep everything, legitimized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he stirred up trouble and caused me to have to resign
Oh, very nice.
because of certain unethical things he was doing. But in the corporate world, they don't look at that. They see what's going on, and that's it. So, well, the minute I stepped down to keep the peace, he buried the place. 2 months later, just horrible. So anyway. So Ronald J. Welsh from Artistic Air Conditioning, he did not pull permits as well. And I'm going to venture to say we probably won't see his name a lot on this docket, but if we get one of these like this from Martin County, I bet you we'll see his name on there quite a bit because he works down in that area more often than any. So that's Artistic Air Conditioning. Once again, it doesn't mean that these people are continuously doing it. However, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that if you're having a new air conditioning installed, ask to see the permit. The permit must be posted on the building before work can be started. Okay? And especially today, all the municipalities require a heat loss, heat gain, or a load calculation on the house before. So you're going to see a lot more of these non-permits happening because folks do not have the ability to do load calculations, and they will not allow a load calculation, or they will not allow a permit to be pulled unless there's a load calculation. So in small companies like this, it doesn't surprise me.
And they may not have the knowledge on how to even do it.
I pretty much venture to say that. So, okay, we're going to take one more quick break here before we go, and we're going to come back. We're going to finish up talking about the all the code violations and citation hearings that we had from the city of Port St. Lucie. We'll
tip of the day.
Oh, and we got the
tip of the day. Great tip of the day brought to us by Elite Electric today.
Got a great tip of the day. So you're listening to Cover Time Live with Tom Adino. We'll be right back.
Tired of struggling to find the right air conditioning contractor? Heard those horror stories about people being scammed out of thousands of dollars? Well, Comfort Time Live has found a great air conditioning contractor that they approve and you can trust. Ranger Air Conditioning Service. Ranger has been in business on the Treasure Coast for more than 38 years, providing the best in quality and customer service. Ranger Air Conditioning Service is family-owned and operated by Tom Ranger. He and his highly trained staff and team members are waiting to earn your business. So give Ranger Air Conditioning Service a call at 772-546-7777. That's Ranger Air Conditioning Service at 772-546-7777 and recommended by Comfort Time Live. Don't forget to tell them you heard about them here on WPSL 1590 and receive a special discount.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing can help you schedule the on-time help you need. Busted water heater? ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Leaky faucet? ScheduleSomeHelp.com. Help with your honey-do list? Perhaps. Get help for $25 at ScheduleSomeHelp.com.
Limitations and exclusions apply. See site for details.
Elite Electric with security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live, Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL. Elite Electric, specializing in all your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricanair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live. Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Comfort Time Live here on WPSL. Hey, it's time for Tip of the Day, brought to you today by Elite Electric. Our tip of the day, this is a great time of year to check all your GFI receptacles in your house. Basically, that means go through and push all those little test buttons, make sure everything's working. Also, another good time of year, ladies and gentlemen, check your smoke detectors. Check them, replace batteries, make sure everything's up to date and working order. Once again, your tip of the day brought to you by Elite Electric.
Awesome. Great tips. Definitely a way to help save you, because there's all kinds of things that can happen to those smoke detectors. You don't find out that you got a problem with them until it's too late. So it doesn't hurt. Now, you got to make sure you plug something into those GFIs so that you can actually physically see the power shut off to them, because sometimes maybe the lights don't work properly that they have on them. So plug something into them, push that GFI off, and see if it actually shuts down. Like plug a hairdryer into it or something like that.
All right.
So little things like that. So great stuff. So we're actually going to get to another one here that has been a big issue, a thorn on our side. But we have, here's another one. We have Yarleet V. Duncan from East Coast Cooling, no permits. We have South Breeze Air Conditioning, William Cruz. South Breeze Air Conditioning, proceeding without inspections and knowingly violating applicable building codes. Now, once again, doesn't mean these people are all bad unless we see their names on here constantly. But what it means is if any of these people come into your home, Artistic Air Conditioning, East Coast Cooling, South Breeze Air Conditioning, make sure before they start work that you have checked, verified, that they have documentation in front of you. If you don't ask, they're not going to give it to you.
Nope.
All right, and here's one. Michael Hoskins from Hoskins and Clark Enterprises. Again, not quite sure what business that they were in, but they were proceeding without inspections and also knowingly violated applicable building laws.
Why would you knowingly violate a building code when you know you're going to get dinged for it?
Well, people do it because they hope that they don't get caught.
That's true.
They hope that they don't get caught. And that's what I mean. That's why a lot of these unlicensed contractors, they play the gauntlet. If I can make a couple $1,000s before I get busted, and I only got to pay a $460 fine,
Good.
It's just the ethics that they have.
Hey, that's better than taxes.
No, I mean it's like growing up. If you grew up in downtown Detroit, okay, and all you know is being in a gang, all you know is carrying a gun, do you know any better when you go into a different part of the world? That's how you were born and raised.
That's true. Good point.
And if nobody instills it into you, whose fault's that?
Right.
It's still your fault, but All right, so here's one that's been a big issue. Now, this guy has been a thorn in our sides for years, and he is actually, I think that this was probably one of the last things that happened before he lost his license, but Michael Hubbard from Bayside Cooling, okay? Bayside Cooling has been in the news for years, and they are as unethical and dishonest as possible. Now, what they were doing is going around renting licenses out from other air conditioning contractors.
You can do that?
Oh, absolutely, you can do that. Now, is it legal? No.
That was going to be my next question.
It's not legal.
All right.
The license holder is supposed to work within the business. They can either be your financial officer or they can be the contractor, but they're supposed to sign everything. But what they were doing is this was the company, and this was on the news and everything. I mean, they actually did an interview with this guy and everything, and his words were, no comment, no comment.
Because he knew he was busted.
This company is the company that went into that old lady's house, told her she had a gas leak, And then remember we talked about
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Had a gas leak, ripped the air conditioning system out, and then charged her some obnoxious amount, $7,000 or $8,000 to replace it.
Ma'am, you got to get out. You've got a gas leak.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a gas leak last night too, but it was after all the beans I ate. I mean, it's absolutely terrible that somebody would go in and unethically and unmorally do that to an old lady.
There was, when I was with the Air Conditioning Contractor Association, I went up to Indian River County, and they gave me a file an inch thick on these people.
Wow.
All kinds of violations, public knowledge. They'd been in the news. Well, this time, and I'm hoping that this was one of the last things, because supposedly he went, after nobody else would let him lease the license out anymore, he finally went and got his own license for air conditioning. But I heard rumor that it had gotten revoked from him. So now this one again was required permits, and that he didn't pull a permit on replacing heating and air conditioning system. Well, I'd love to find out if it was because he didn't have a license still.
Michael Hubbard, huh?
Michael Hubbard, Bayside Cooling. Do not let these people in your door. If they pick up the phone and call, and any of those names come across your desk, do not speak to them. Call your local municipality first, and make sure that they back in good standings. And I'm gonna tell you no. I guarantee it. But call first. But do not let these people in your door. Do not answer the phone when they call. All right, next one is Steven Singer from Definitely Different Home Repairs. So this is one of those probably handyman people that Joel Dramus, that's his name. The guy that was standing next to John.
That number you were asking me, Joel Dramus.
Yeah. Thanks. You're man, God,
I'm quick, aren't I?
glad we got you on there. Good man. Also, Definitely Different Home Repairs did not pull a permit on the job they were on. Richard M. Lemonson from Service America Enterprises, once again, was the condition of permits where the job sat for more than 6 months, and required permits were not pulled, and the reinspection was not done. We also have Grace Stucco and Plastering. They got a bunch of violations. One of them was willfully and deliberately engaging in a type or class of contracting for which the contractor is not licensed or registered. Now, this is one of those ones I was telling you about.
He's a stucco guy, but he needed to do all your electrical and plumbing work.
Probably something along those lines, exactly. And he knowingly violated applicable building codes or laws for the state or city, and committing a fraud or deceit in the practice of contracting. So that's a big one, ladies and gentlemen. So that is just all kinds of red flags about that company.
Didn't he change his name of his business to Dewey Cheatham and House? Dewey Cheatham and House, Stucco and Plastering. Give us a call.
So one of our last ones here is James Clark from Coastal Environment LLC, DBA. Oh, boy. This is one that you see in your Val packs every week, ladies and gentlemen. VacuVent. So Coastal Environment LLC, DBA VacuVent. It's in the Val packs and the Money Savers all over. It's those companies that do the $29.95 whole house vent cleaning. So they go and dust off all your vents for $29.95. Well, wait, you're not doing the ducts? Oh, well, the ad says vents. You want us to clean the ducts too?
Oh, that's $700 more.
So
I got a shop vac. I can do my own vents. Thank you.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And it's all over the place. So some of the things, all this stuff is public knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. You can go down to City of Port St. Lucie. They'd be more than happy to give it to you. And I'm going to find out from Joel if they're okay with me posting this. And maybe what we'll do is create our own page on ComfortTimeLive.com, where they can go to and find all these violations and find out. So this way, if you missed a little bit of the show or you want to go back, so I'm going to find out from Joel if he's okay with me posting.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I think that would be a good
idea.
place
It's
for
a matter
people.
of public record, though. It's a matter of news. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And your page would constitute like a news story.
Well, maybe when I get when I get my website Unlicensed to Steal completely up and running, maybe that'll be a great place to post this up.
Absolutely.
Great place to post this up. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, ComfortTimeLive.com is the place to go. And don't forget, we are here every Friday from 11 to 12. We are on Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday from 7 to 8. You can view that right on ComfortTimeLive.com. And we also have a little Saturday thing going on from 3 to 4. So go to ComfortTimeLive.com to find out what that is. And we all have all kinds of great hosts and guests and all kinds of things going on.
Fantastic Saturday fun here at Comfort Time Live.
Absolutely. Well, Cliff, thanks again. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you, Richard, for winning our trivia. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye now.
You've been listening to Comfort Time Live. Visit the website, comforttimelive.com. And that's going to conclude our live studio broadcast on this Friday. We got